What's going on, everybody? Bobby Fine, Eric Sheetaber. We're going to be talking about the baseball slate and some basketball. I'm still whittling some stuff I want to do in basketball, and I'm obviously waiting on injury information, which we don't have. And
What are we waiting on, by the way?
Gary Harris, Jared Allen.
Ugh.
I mean, it's just they're true game times, and if we want to speculate, we would speculate probably that. I guess they don't play. I guess that Jared Allen doesn't play. Gary Harris, my guess is he does, but just a guess.
And I have them projected as in, so I don't know what else to say.
Well, they're projected as questionable. Yeah, I mean, and even the Allen's projection, pretty much everywhere I've looked is just way off. It's at least 4 points off, probably.
I have him at 33.
Yeah, that's way too low. He's averaging, I think, 44 in the series.
I think he plays, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe not that high, because he did have the one down game. Yeah, he had 47, 56, 26, and 33. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, anyway, so we'll talk about some baseball first, and baseball's a little bit easier. Sheets, what did you end up doing as far as your pitchers, as far as your stacks?
Well, I don't know what. Well, I don't know why, but for some reason, I guess like Ken Griffey Jr. is like back on Seattle and it's like 3K or something like that. Like, for some reason, I'm getting like all to Seattle. Don't know exactly what to do about it. No matter how many times I try to mess around with it, that's kind of what I'm getting. So I want to dive into this a little bit more. Obviously, it's a good park and everything like that, but I prefer to play pitchers against Seattle, since Seattle when there's a righty pitcher. So I don't know what I want to do with that. I'm going to look in a second to see what I was getting as far as pitchers goes. I'm presuming it's going to be all kinds of Tanner Beebe and stuff like that. But let me just see. As I pulled it up, I mean, what do you got?
Yeah, so I have Sears as my top pitcher. I have some Atlanta Dodger combo stacks where you use Sears and Paddock together. That allows you to get to most of it. You still have to use another couple value pieces, but that's one way to do it. BB is my favorite of the spend up issues. After that, I have Blanco, then Stroman, and that's pretty much my pitcher pool. And I'm totally fine with the Sonny Gray thing. It probably works out great. The 10-1 wasn't working for me. Maybe he ends up in one lineup of mine when we get done here. But I personally think as a, what is he going to be? He's going to be the second highest owned pitcher. He's 10-1. Anything goes wrong at all, he just puts up 20. I'm totally fine. I don't want to see the 35. That's pretty much all I'm afraid of doing. Oh, and I do like Tanner Houck, and that's the one I haven't managed to put in my lineups yet, but I will put him in my lineups.
Yeah, I like the Sears idea. And again, I have no issue with Stroman. You know what I mean? Like it's not sexy or anything like that, but it's not like usually when we get Stroman, it's like 10K, and he's being priced just for win odds, and they presume that all 10Ks are priced equal. I think this is a pretty reasonable price for him. It's not like he's going to be low owned or anything like that, but it's not like the usual like Marcus Stroman situation where you have to throw him out.
Right. That's true. The other one that I was interested in, I started looking like at it. I mean, look, if you want to get creative at pitching, if you feel like you're playing a chalky stack, which honestly, I don't feel like anybody's so chalky. I guess maybe St. Louis, but I think playing some Reese Olson makes sense. I also think playing some Yankees makes sense. So, but that's sort of that would be the get weird one. If I was playing, 150, I'd get 10% of that or something, but I didn't end up getting to that. There's also a lot of value out there tonight. Like if you're not playing BB, Willie Calhoun is batting cleanup. He's 4K. He's 2K flat.
Oh my God.
Burleson's 2,600. Tyler Nevin, the goat of all goats.
He sure is, huh?
He's 26 still. And and I think those guys help make things work. Now they're going to be popular, but you can find plenty of other. I mean, you've got Hernandez for the A's is also 2K. There's just a lot of guys in that 2K range that sort of make things work to get to the favorite stacks. And for me, that would be the Dodgers, This is the wrong slate I'm looking at. Somehow it's always the Dodgers. Atlanta, the Dodgers, San Diego. San Diego is the one I've got in my biggest buy-in right now, and I am just sort of rolling with it. They've looked better at the plate lately. It's a huge stadium upgrade for them. It's Arizona, roof open, hot Friday night. Feels like a time where we could try and pick on this guy. If I wasn't picking on him, I'd be playing him. So I don't know what to do.
Right.
I was like, okay, well, this is an interesting pivot off my other pitchers, but I kind of like the idea of going with San Diego. It is weird though that a guy who's put up two awesome games to start his, he's projected at 10 fantasy points, and the only 6K pitcher basically getting he and Gavin Stone getting no ownership at all. The worst plays have been made.
Yeah,
what do you got?
I think again, I'm getting this Seattle business, but aside from that, San Diego is probably my top normal stack. And then I'll see if I want to tweak and play Dodgers and Braves and stuff like that. But again, what I start with is just kind of what I get, and then I just see what else I want to do. Why do you think all the Seattle is showing up? I think
Blanco is like a hit or miss type of pitcher.
Okay.
That's my guess, I guess. I don't really have a great answer for you. It's not making a lot of sense to me. But I mean, there's nobody really with a big total tonight. Nobody's got a 5 total.
Yeah, we definitely talked about that.
Yeah, so I guess that taking a low-owned, cheap team against a questionable pitcher makes sense why that would happen, I guess.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
The Royals and I wish there was some better, it's not bad hitting weather, but something about the Royals Texas game kind of appeals to me as a hitting game. I just couldn't quite do it. I couldn't quite get it to Texas is so expensive to play them against a guy who me and you both think is and by the way, everybody should think is a very good pitcher. Just felt wrong. And I felt better about the Braves and the Dodgers, to be honest, than I did with that case. And the Dodgers lineup is out, and it's basically, exactly what you want to see. The problem is if they bring in a lefty, Outman, Galux, that's probably it. Those would be the two that would probably be out. But even both of those guys hit lefties pretty well. So Freddie P. Freeman with a decent BVP. The Dodgers have hit this guy pretty good, and I think this is just a very tough matchup. So I didn't get to any Morton. I was curious if other people were going to get to Morton, and it seems like the early ownership projection kind of faded away as the day went on.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that.
Yeah, it just feels wrong. You look at the top of that lineup, it's ugh.
I mean, may as well just pay up for Sonny Gray if you're going to do that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So the guys who Sonny Gray again, no problem with him. Just didn't get there myself. Dylan Cease, I do have not a problem with him. As really chalky at this ownership. What I don't understand is, does everybody remember last year and the year before when no one would play Dylan Cease because of his volatility? And I'm like, well, that's what we want, is this volatility.
We want it at low ownership is what we want. I mean,
exactly. At high ownership against Arizona in a good hitting weather game with a 4.5 total against him, just doesn't feel like the best play. And like I said, if this slate was a little bit smaller and I needed to get creative, I would absolutely have no trouble stacking the Diamondbacks here. But I just think there are some better options. I mean, the Diamondbacks have the fifth highest total on the slate, fourth or fifth, on the slate.
As far as it's so funny, you mentioned values. I just wanted to reel off kind of my top just cheapos. One that you mentioned, the MVP Tyler Nevin, Alec Burleson you already mentioned, Travis Janikowski for Texas, it's 2,400. This guy Dane Myers, whoever that is, for 2,200 for Miami. You mentioned Willie Calhoun, 2K flat. A couple of Kansas City guys are under 3K. Colt Keith, whoever that is, for Detroit, 2,300. And then with the Seattle's, Polanco's 38, Rojas 32, but those aren't really that cheap.
I just noticed that Tyler Wade is in the lineup now. I didn't see that he was. I for some reason I just didn't see the updated or whatever the lineup that they released. Tyler Wade is 2,500 as a part of the San Diego stack, and I think that's a reasonable route to go.
Tyler Wade.
Just he's 2,500, and it makes San Diego's stack work. San Diego's looking like they're getting a little more popular than I was. Oh no, I think it's just SaberSim likes him. Yeah, Tyler Wade. He's 2,500. Second and third base eligible, so you can play him as your saver if you needed one on that San Diego side. I like Atlanta though, and I'm a Dodger fan, and I like Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, there's but like we talked about, there aren't that many great upside teams. I'll tell you the one that I'm. I mean, you just mentioned them. I really might kind of force some of this. Is that Arizona thing you mentioned?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting. I mean, you get no ownership, you get some leverage, you get a solid offense. I think it's interesting.
And Cease can certainly give up home runs. I mean,
what?
Cease can certainly give up home runs.
Oh yeah, he can give up home runs. He can if it's not his day, he could walk 6 guys. Like you don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, and
you just turn that lineup over, keep on turning. Boy, how tilting would it be if I played 5 Kims in almost all my lineups, and the highest scoring one may end up being the one I didn't play, who's the amateur.
and meanwhile, Hubbard, it's like minus 100 today.
I know he shot the lights out today.
But my other guys are not keeping up.
I will never understand why. There must have been something I missed. I don't understand the Hubbard chalk. I don't understand the Hubbard love this week. I never understood it, and
But you know what? They know somehow. That's it.
But the weird part, I listen to his brother's podcast about golf every week, and it's not like his brother was like pointing out that this is a great spot for him. Like I just didn't see where it was coming. I mean, they played well in the Zurich, but
so this is my sweat. My sweat is I need for the signature hole. I need M. Greiserman to go 2 under for the remaining 8 holes to make the cut. He was -5 going into today, and he's like the only guy on the course who's +1. Yeah. So he's through 9.
Well, except for my guy Chan Kim, who was -5 going to the day.
Yeah, me too. I had him in the other big buy-in.
Yeah. So Greiserman, yeah, I think. Come on, let's hope. Let's make it Greiserman.
I mean, -5 going into today, and I can't go 1 under for the freaking day. Come on.
Same here. That's what's tilted me so bad. Absolutely frustrating.
Hubbard just goes off -7 like it's his job, and I just want -1. I just want two birdies. That's all. Hubbard
may end up be leading this tournament by the time he's only played like 12.
God, the guy's going nuts.
I know. Crazy. Oh man. All right. So let's see. You got any big weekend plans?
Well, the Derby's tomorrow, so I'm going to be around degenning that. And meanwhile, you want to talk about just atrocious content, not content, but dude, like 4 weeks in a row, I was taught and told whatever to play Jake Knapp because he was a bomber and you didn't need to be accurate, and those are courses that fit him perfectly. He was +40 in like all those tournaments, and now the one tournament where you have to be accurate, he's leading. I just amazing.
I played him 25%, but all those lineups are dead. But he was the guy I got onto after the show.
Just amazing.
But also people come up with these narratives for guys who are 22 years old, and they just need to go away. You know what I mean? We can't have narratives based on 22-year-old guys who have played 10 career professional events that we've studied. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's where we make mistakes.
Yeah, I have. Well, I'm running hot as far as I have 4 Jake Knapp lineups, and only one of them has Sun JM. So that's good.
Oh man, that's annoying.
And who's this? Oh, okay. So I do have one Jake Knapp that could get 6 for 6, depending on whether Matty Schmidt and Thorbjorn Olsen lose another stroke. No, actually, he's good. Yeah. So Olsen should get one. He should be. They Schmidt's only got 3 more holes left, so that's a little hard. But
no matter which when he started on the back, the par 5 is how they close it out.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something,
We'll see.
I played Matty Schmidt was my other guy that I ended up.
Oh, really?
We didn't talk about during the show. He and Knapp were the 2 guys we didn't talk about that I ended up getting a bunch of. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Olsen has no excuse if he doesn't make it. He's got 8 holes to go to get one.
Yeah, and Siwoo Kim just cruising his chalk like nobody's business.
But you see what he did? He was not going to make the cut. He was think he was 2 under with like 7 holes to play, and with 8 holes to play.
Then he just rattled it off.
He birdied 7 or 7. Yeah, he was 3 under, but he's 7 in a row to end it. It was nuts.
Not a problem.
Yeah, 7 out of 8.
So maybe Geyerson can just get a couple. I don't need 7 in a row. I just need a couple.
Yeah, you just need 1, right? Isn't he?
No,
at 5?
you got to get
just 4.
6, right?
Yeah, you're right. He's at 4. I'm sorry, I thought he was at 5.
Yeah.
And
I don't suppose there's anything on Jared Allen yet, right?
No, we don't have anything yet. At least I don't have anything yet. Somebody else, guys, let us know if you hear anything about Jared Allen. Otherwise, we can act like Jared Allen's playing and talk about the slate if you want to.
I suppose.
I mean, I ran some early stuff, so I'll say what Saberson gave me and what I've currently got, which are 2 different numbers because I've done a little whittling. Luka was my highest owned player at 50%. I didn't have anybody higher than 50%, which is kind of weird for a 2-game slate. Paolo at 45, Carter at 45, Wagner. I guess of the difference makers, the guys who I'm getting over with, Russell Westbrook is projected to be less than 5% owned tonight. It's a 2-game slate, guys. The Clippers couldn't score last game. Let's play some Westbrook. I don't care. You just can't. You got to ignore the recent results, especially when your team loses, because adjustments will be made. And Russell Westbrook is the best plus-minus player in this series for the Clippers. So Ty Lue is good at this stuff. I think that Westbrook is going to get more ownership. I think Westbrook should get a lot more ownership. So he's one of my big differentiators. Probably, I mean, he's my biggest. I don't really need a whole bunch of other ones. I have a little Josh Green and Isaac Okoro, even if Allen plays. It's just a little something because I needed some of that value. And then the ones that I'm really into is the and it looks like the field is kind of caught up with my love for the play a little bit. I think Lively should be like. I think you start like if you're playing cash, I actually would start with Lively and Carter, and Lively is going to be what less than 20% owned, 20-ish% owned. So I really like the idea, and that's where you get your value: Carter and Lively, or you play in cash, or maybe you play Isaac and Lively in tournaments. But I like that quite a bit. So that's what I'm doing, and I think that I would go out of my way to try to get one of Banchero or Wagner. I think one of those guys smashes. It's always hard to know which one, and maybe both. But I know that's a pretty obvious thing. They're going to be popular. But I'm not sure. Like I'm actually like trying to make sure I have at least one of them in every lineup, except for a couple Clippers Dallas stacks.
Do we like Josh Green?
That's what. Yeah, he's one of my. Well, I don't like him, but he's one of the 3K what the hells that I took a shot on.
The 3K what you hills, yeah. And Jaden Hardy still hasn't played, right?
He played. He played during the blowout, the last game when everybody pulled all the starters. You've got the Magic guys, the Fultz and Anthony as value. It is interesting because people want to play Luka so badly. Maybe that's one thing you could do. And he's my highest owned player like right now, but I might actually go out of my way to try to whittle away some of my Luka exposure. Just because, look, this series, first of all, they've done an incredible job on him. He's definitely not right. And he's, 12,000, which means you have to play a bunch of guys who literally have been like 1% owned, 2% owned every day. And now they're going to be 20% owned because they're trying to cram in Luka. I get it, but maybe you could tell yourself a story that it's the Kyrie night or something like that. And you just pass on the Luka.
That's not such an extravagant story, right?
No. Or maybe you skip both of them and you play Paul George and Banchero and Wagner and Donovan Mitchell as your spend ups. That makes a lot of sense. You have a nice solid build, and I think it works. So
how has Donovan Mitchell been doing in the playoffs?
It's not been like we're used to him. You know what I mean? He usually just kills it in the playoffs. He hasn't really had that big game. Largely, a lot of it is poor shooting, but honestly, his usage is amazing. I mean, it's 35% basically. The assists haven't been there. Maybe that's partly because people haven't been making as many shots. He had a 1-7 assist game. He just hasn't had that big game, and it's a tough matchup. He's got to go up against, mostly Suggs, who's one of the best 5 defenders in the perimeter in the NBA.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, Suggs. I think he's going to be first team all defense this year. I think in this game, you're going to have at least 2 guys who are first team all defense. So and if they let him play enough, Jonathan Isaac is probably the best defensive player not named Rudy Gobert. But he didn't play that many minutes, so he's not gonna qualify.
Well, F Rudy Gobert. He can't guard anybody.
I don't even understand the Rudy Gobert. Like, I actually like that Rudy. Like, this series, this is what you want him for. You want to have them throw a million bigs at Jokic. Great,
right?
But like most of the time when you're getting played off the court in the playoffs and you're gonna keep winning MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
Plus, I think everybody in the NBA knows already that Wembanyama is going to win like 100 in a row, so that's why they give it to Gobert.
Guy's not even human though. I don't think he should be eligible.
But you know what's cool about him, Sheets? He acts like he has the perfect mentality. There's nothing about him that's braggy. He's very humble. He's very interested in getting better. All he cares about is work. He doesn't want to go out. He doesn't want to party. He just wants to focus on basketball.
It's probably because he didn't go to college in the United States, I guess.
Yeah, he learned well in France.
Yeah. And then he goes on. You wonder like how his teams like ever lost. You know, like.
Yeah, that's true.
I think San Antonio loses every game. So I mean, like.
Well, I think it's partly because he said himself. I know, but they literally didn't let him play enough minutes early in the season just because they didn't want to win games. They wanted him to go through weird stretches. They'll be contenders every year for the rest. If I had to pick one basketball player to start a team with ahead of all of these superstars and everything, it'd be him.
Oh, it has to be.
How could you, right? Like, how could you even think about anybody else?
I mean,
so I think that my Westbrook is one of my get weirds. I have probably Amir Coffey more than most people do, just because the minutes. It's really hard to play him successfely because but the minutes are like enough for me to buy into the stuff.
What kind of minutes has Plumlee been getting?
He's actually he had a good rotation last time when he was in Dallas, which honestly is really all you need at 3,200. The problem is like he's 3,200, Derek Lively's 4,100, and Plumlee played 14 and 16 minutes. Don't get me wrong, but Lively could legitimately play 28, maybe even could play probably not 28. Probably 28 would be the cap for him, but yeah, he'll get a little bit of run. The question is will he get any? Well, there's a lot of speculation, the Clippers, about going small. And I'm like, well, partly they like to do that with when they have Kawhi. Without Kawhi, it still might happen, though. And you might see like Paul George, Amir Coffey, Terrence Mann, Harden, and Westbrook. Or throw Norman Powell in for Amir Coffey and Westbrook in for Zubac. I think that's actually reasonable. And if I were them, I probably would try something like that. But Ty Lue is a great coach, knows a lot better than I do. So without this news about Jared Allen, it's really not a whole lot we can do, right? And I'm going to take a look at the news. For those of you guys who are a member of our thing, like just check out the NBA and the ESPN, and the NFL, or whatever sport you're into. The tweet thing from Underdog will have it instantly, and it's great. Okay, so Gary Harris is not seen going through pregame warm-ups as usual.
As usual, thanks. Great.
Well, that's what they said about Jared Allen in the last game. And
as usual, I mean, like,
no. They're saying he's at his usual time. He's not.
Okay, he usually does play.
Usually does. Yeah, sorry.
I thought you meant as usual. He's not part of warm-ups.
Yeah. I know. And Bernie Bickerstaff was kind enough to announce that Jared Allen is a game time decision.
Yeah, great. That's good. That's terrific.
It means a lot for us.
Well, worst case, yeah. I could throw in any of these other guards, like it's like Anthony or Fultz, like whatever.
Yeah, the only thing is like you probably want to prioritize those guys if he's out.
Right. What's hard? Hard's a point guard.
Although, like, don't be surprised if like you get like the weird Caleb Houston is starting thing or something weird. They're weird. Like they'll do strange things, and those guys will still be good plays. What's that?
Oh, nothing.
Are you looking at Harden?
Yeah. I gotta get out of this. I gotta shower and get out of here. But
okay.
I guess I'll take one more look at the Cavs stuff before I leave. Aside from that, all kinds of stuff this weekend. We got the Derby tomorrow. I got MMA this weekend. We got Brandon doing the Truck Series thing tomorrow. It's all kinds of non-traditional content. I'll be putting baseball stuff up. And good luck, everybody, tonight.
All right, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Good luck, everybody. We hope to see you later. If I have any questions and anything,